We need to come back to the fire and come and really just remember what brings us together. Okay, we all want clean water. We all need clean air. We all need to eat food that's not killing us. Okay, we work together to get that. And that should be the focus, not pointing fingers of X, Y, C, you this, you that. It's like, let's come together on the things that actually we all value, which is life.
Welcome to Came Here to Love, a podcast hosted by me, Liz Logan, where we explore heart-centered conversations with visionary leaders from around the world. This podcast is a journey into wisdom, a path to transformation, and an invitation to catch the highest vibration of all, love. Angela del Sol Varela is a visionary social entrepreneurial and climate activist who founded Ancient Future Earth, pioneering the concept of ancient futurism to address global challenges. By merging cutting-edge technology with indigenous wisdom, she creates transformative solutions through immersive community organizations, regeneration initiatives, and artistic projects. Her project, Sisu, focuses on keystone species, bees, trees, and reefs, building partnerships to catalyze solutions and develop innovative funding mechanisms for on-the-ground impact projects with Native communities. With experiences producing large-scale festivals and conferences for organizations like Google and the UN, she brings a unique approach that infuses climate action with joy and creativity. Currently, working with the Planetary Health Lab at the University of Edinburgh, Angela del Sol continues to foster a global shift towards environmental harmony, cultural celebration, and science. Her approach blends radical imagination with grounded perspectives, making climate action both human and tangible while inspiring positive change worldwide. I am so excited to be sitting down with Angela del Sol on Came Here to Love. We always start every episode of what we're loving right now in this moment. So is there anything that you're loving right now?
I am entering my country music era.
That's right.
I am really loving country music, which is so strange for me because I used to not like it and judge it. And I've been entering that, which has been super interesting. So I've been finding a lot of joy in music again, and kind of staying in this space of just exploration, musical exploration, singing more, making more art. I've been painting. This whole winter has been this really deep process of just going into the studio in Mexico City, this really magical temple where I work from. I've been painting a lot and just really getting super comfortable with creating things for me, for the world, right? I think that when we stay in this place of always getting this outside validation, it kind of start messes up our compass around if it's good, if it's bad. And it's been a really nice process of just doing a lot of things for me, even if they don't look glamorous or XYZ, but they just feel really good to do, like painting, collecting seeds.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm laughing because you told me about your country music obsession. And so what's your favorite country song right now that's totally captivated you?
So there's two songs. So there's this singer called John Craigie.
Yeah, he's so good.
His new album, No Rain, No Roses, has been so spot on into where I am in life right now. And I think that's the beauty about music, that sometimes it's meant to land when it's meant to land.
Totally.
So there's two songs. One that, it was played on repeat during Christmas, during December, which was California, which is at California, and California has a really special place in my heart because I live there. I fell out of love there. I learned how to surf there. Some of my best friends live there, so it's a very, very special place in my heart. And then there's this other song called All the Salt, which
I love that one
with me because it talks about letting go of this fear of reinventing yourself and trusting that no matter where you will go and where you choose to rebuild your life or do things over again, you will always have what you need. And yeah, and it's just super poetic about, rain will wash the blueberries that you eat, and everything that you need will be here. And even if the salt makes most things rusty, whatever you will need will be here and it will be okay. And there's almost this sense of trust and surrender that is teaching me.
I love that. You know what's so cool? First of all, I mean, guys, get ready for a really invigorating episode on Came Here to Love, because Angela del Sol has become a sister and she's one of my favorite new people in my life. And you can see why. I mean, you can just feel her energy radiating out of this episode she's the girlfriend that you want sitting next to you, whether you're having coffee or driving down the highway, listening to new country music that she's found. She and I recently were together on New Year's Eve. And I swear to God, I have to tell this story because it's so funny. But we were together and there was a friend of ours that had his daughter was with us, and she was trying to figure out something to wear. And she's 9 years old. And I'll never forget this for as long as I live. Angela del Sol comes out with her. It was like you had a princess suitcase that you opened up and you literally started pulling out gowns and all princess attire for this little girl, saying, okay, you can wear any of my stuff. What do you want to wear? You can wear this silk thing from India, or you can wear this beautiful dress from Colombia, or you can wear, I mean, it was just on and on and on. Or this New York Fashion Week outfit that I got. I mean, it was just this magnificent experience that I was witness to. And I literally called you a real life princess, because after that moment, I was like, you really are. You were like Moana coming out of your suitcase into this girl's life. So I love that. It was so much fun.
Funny.
It was so much fun.
Fashion. And you know what? I think it's because I was raised by nuns. I went to Catholic school.
Where was that?
In Colombia, in Bogota. So from, since I was a child until 13, I went to an all-girl Catholic school. I had to wear a uniform. And maybe it was not being able to express myself so much as a child. I think my style continues to be this place where I really can express myself. And I'm, as much as I travel so much and I'm quite nomadic, although I have some home bases, I love clothes and I love I love good textiles. I love things that can really have a story, and that, clothing that will stay here way before I leave, playing one day far away.
Yes.
Or because most things right now are disposable. So all the items that I carry have a story. So that was really fun. I love.
Yes.
I'm a girl's girl,
You're a girl's girl for sure.
It's like closet is your closet, like my girlfriends is like, we can just share, because when one person shines, when the people closest to us feel good, feel confident, feel happy, then that makes you feel good and happy and confident. So I've had amazing girlfriends that have always been so generous with their closet. So I've learned from them how I've been generous and living in this place of abundance of there's more where that came from.
Yeah. That's one. I mean, there's so many things I want to touch on, but let's just go here with the generosity of your spirit, because that was the one thing. I mean, you already have been such a teacher to me, but your generosity is beyond generosity. I mean, it really is the true embodiment of generosity. And it was so just special to witness the generosity of spirit that you had with everything. I mean, it was like, here, do you want this? You can have this. And then, you can wear this, or here, take my favorite t-shirt, or, you've always been so generous every time I'm around you. And actually, I would love for you to tell the story that you told me about your favorite rainbow sweater. This is like the epitome of generosity. So let's tell that story real quick, because I think it's beautiful.
Thank you so much for seeing that. And I just want to acknowledge that I didn't arrive to this place of generosity. I think that is when you realize that you're off balance. And for me, because I've had such a love for items and art and beauty, I see energy in these items. And that's why I buy them or collect them over the years. And these past years, I've realized I've come to a place of enoughness where I've have enough and more to give. And I think that I was in the airport on my way to meet you guys. I make this decision of joining for New Year's very last minute. And I hate the cold. I love the snow and I love all the, winter sports, but I don't like feeling cold.
Yeah.
So I always carry lots of layers. And I had this really beautiful rainbow knitted sweater, and I look like a character in the airport, right? Like I'm wearing this like rainbow long sweater, and then I have my baby alpaca and a hat and my harp. Like I probably look
like a true life princess would travel through the airport.
I look insane, and I'm carrying roses for you, of course. I later found out you're not allowed to travel with flowers. But
I know.
Sorry. So I'm in the bathroom, and the lady that was cleaning the bathroom was like, "Oh my gosh, you're so ready for the cold." And I was like, "It's been freezing." And I was in Mexico City, which is a city that I spend a lot of time at. And I was like, "Oh my God, it's super cold. This city's not ready for it." And she was just like, her gesture was like, I just wanted to hug her. And then I just took off my rainbow sweater, which is my ultimate favorite, and I just gifted it to her. And I was like, "This is for you to keep you warm." And I cannot explain the feeling that I felt after that. I felt so good. I felt so high. I was just like, this is the best feeling in the world, because as much as I love this sweater and I will see it and I will wear it maybe once, twice a year, this lady will have this memory of this random person. Her name was Pilar, that somebody would just gift her something.
Yeah.
And then when you start spreading generosity, and I'm not talking about items, I'm talking about seeing somebody in the street and be like, "Hey, you look amazing today." Or like, just smile, or just be next to the cashier or the taxi person or the bus person or the plane person, like anyone, right? Anyone, just staying in that space of, just sharing good vibes.
Yeah. No, you do it really well and masterfully. And I feel like it's your soul's expression. It's like the true essence of who you are comes through as the generous heart that you give. And I'm just really proud of you, because you're not that old. You're very, very wise. And the transmission of, I always say that we're here to transmit light, that's our true transmission. And light is the reflection of love in our hearts. And I feel like you've just, you have a really beautiful gift and way to capture that you understand already in your life, that this is the whole point. And it's that feel good thing where we get so attached, in our world, we're taught attachment. And we're being actually put into really big tests around attachment. I think that it actually takes me back to the interesting two songs that you chose around your country metamorphosis. But one is called California, which we're in a massive craziness with the fires of California. So, just acknowledging that loss of attachment. Everyone's so attached to home and to the possessions inside our homes. And I've been through my own house fire and I've lost everything. And I know the pain of what that experience is, to literally one day you have everything and the next day you have nothing. And it's just ripped. It's like literally in ashes. And so my heart goes out to everyone that's going through that pain and experience in LA. I can't even imagine being in that massive experience with the collective community of LA. But the fact that you had that as your one of your top country songs, and then the second song was all about you have everything you need to have the rain wash your blueberries and that everything will show up. And it's kind of interesting that you picked those two. And they're great lessons right now in the world in which we're living, because it's a very unstable place. And we're constantly being shown that, and every day is a gift. And so it's really remembering that generosity of heart and realizing that non-attachment, that, it all can be taken. It can all be taken in a heartbeat. So it's really about living from your heart space and doing what you love, and go out and make people happy and make yourself, put yourself in that position of joy. I think that's such a beautiful expression. So anyways, thank you for saying all of that, because you're a true reflection.
And I think I learned this from this incredible friend and artist. Her name is Olivia Steele, and she's amazing. She does this neon art. And I remember she lent us some art for an event that I did during the Mexico City Art Week last year. And it said, happiness is only real when shared. Right? And it's just when I've seen, it's like, how is it fun to be in a place of beauty, abundance, health, wealth, XYZ, when the world around us is burning? Wearing 4 coats when the lady that's literally making sure that everything's clean for us, it's shivering of cold. That we never realize how much we have, especially in the West. We are so extremely abundant in so many ways.
Yeah.
And I just think that when we realize that enoughness of not just items, but that enoughness of gifts to give to the world, then that's the moment where we can just let the floodgate open.
100%. 100%. And I think that that's what this collective, ask is in the world right now, is how do we all support each other in this fragile state that we're in, and how do we do our part? And I think that's to your point. Like, what I love about this show, Came Here to Love, I named it this because it's really about aligning with the essence of who we are as love. And it's really about how do we rise to the vibrational frequency of love on a daily basis. And these things are free. These are tools that you can do no matter what your social economic class is. It doesn't matter. The generosity of heart can be at any level, and expression of love can come from any person on the planet. And so these are real tangible ways to actually move you into the alignment with your higher self, and also to just align you to everything that you really want to call in your life is in that realm. It's not in the realm of materialistic possession or even external focus. It's really internally in the privacy of your own heart. So I love that you highlighted that. I want to shift gears a little bit, because I haven't told you what I'm loving this week, which has a lot to do with you. So one of the beautiful things and gifts that you've brought into my life is Angela makes these unbelievable bags, handcrafted bags. We're going to actually show you these on the website that she's created, but these are unbelievable gifts. I mean, they're truly, truly artisan gifts. And I am loving. So the one that you gave me in Mexico, it's a one of a kind, of course, because you're one of a kind. But I cherish this bag so much, and I'm obsessed with it. And I want every single one of my girlfriends. So any woman listening to this show, you have to get one of these bags. It will brighten your life. The story is incredible. So I want you to tell us more about where the inspiration came, what the story is behind these bags. How did these bags come out into the world? Because they are truly, I feel like every time I'm carrying my bag, I'm going to lunch after this episode, and I'm taking my bag, and I know I'm going to sell 2 bags at lunch, because every time I wear it, everyone's like, where'd you get that bag? So tell us a little bit more.
Those bags, I think, for me, represent going back to a place of a lot of pain and transmuting it into a lot of beauty. I left Colombia when I was 13 years old because of the war. It was a very extremely violent country, and my mother took the really hard decision of taking my sister and I out of the country. So I basically spent years without going back to Colombia because I had so many emotions around it. And when I got older, I started to really go back into my roots and kind of remembering that, the fact that I grew up mostly in the United States, I cannot erase this whole side of me. So when I went back to Colombia, I started to reconnect with a lot of the indigenous communities there and with the artisans. And I remember feeling the energy of these textiles, right? And like how things are hand woven. And I started exploring, and I'm just so drawn to beauty and to things that are not like made in one day, just things that take a lot of energy to create. I love art. So I remember seeing this bag and I remember being like, who made this? Can I have one made? But, because I live in New York City, I need something that I can transition from nighttime.
Right.
I'm into nighttime because I do yoga and then I go and do this and then I do that. And then I have to go, I go out and have a dinner, have a drink.
You're a modern woman.
Yeah. So you need something that you can put everything in it. And I don't want to wear a basic black bag. Nothing wrong with that, but that's just not who I am. I love colors. I love the rainbow. So I met with the artisans that made this bag, and then they're like, of course, we can make you one. Of course, we can make, we can add whatever you need to it. And that's how the collaboration started. Conversation around creating this one bag for me. So then I bring it to New York City. And then like you, when you go to your lunches, people started asking me, I want one. Where can I get one? Where can I get one? And I was just, I was humbled by it, but I was like, I was working in tech at the time. So I'm like, but my partner at the time was like, you have a business, you need to sell those. So I started selling them, and it's a really beautiful social project because the people that weave the bag are women that are single moms, men that were displaced by the war and gave back, they gave the arms back to the government through this process in Colombia. And then they were taught how to weave and kind of reconnect with these ancestral weavings to bring them. So what's super special about these bags is that they weave together 3 different indigenous communities from different regions in Colombia into one bag. So not only super bright and beautiful, but it's just the energy of these ancestral weavings that continue that legacy, generations from mother to son and so forth. So I find that really beautiful that we can brighten people's days with the colors and the vibration that it emits, but also the healing that it creates in these places, right? Because being able to work and build something where, you're getting paid a fair wage, you have breaks, you have lunch, like a really nice working condition, it's unheard of in the fashion industry.
For sure. For sure. I mean, obviously, I love it. And I know that we're going to be doing a lot with these bags together because I believe in the story. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I started a candle company that actually, I owned a wellness center years ago in Vail, Colorado. And I wanted to do a candle project with Indigenous communities. And so I actually teamed up with a company that could do it, but they were all crystal candles. So each one was based on the chakras, the 7 chakra systems. And we did an affirmation on the back of the candles, and it had a crystal that correlated with the chakra. And each one of the candles was made by an Indigenous community. And especially they all came with a picture of who made the candle. And it was an amazing project. And again, it just got me thinking about consumerism and where we get to choose to make decisions in our lives and how important it is to actively, consciously purchase things, from places that are actually doing a better way of consumer, making products and bringing people to the workforce that can make products. And so when I heard your story, first of all, the bags are outrageously gorgeous. So forget the story for a second. Just the design of the bags are so stunning. But then when you attach it to the story that you created with it, it's like, oh my God, this is what I want to support for the rest of my life and for the rest of time. So thank you for bringing those to life. And every time I use my bag, I'm so full of joy. I can't even tell you. And so that transmission is great. And I think that we're going to be doing pop-ups all over the place. And if you guys are interested in a bag, you can certainly go to the link below this episode and definitely get it. I know that this allotment of bags are almost sold out. So if you're serious and you want to grab a bag, now is the time because we're going back into production. Yes. And I'm
on Pollinators.
What's that?
I will say, coming up with these ideas of, let's do this and let's change that and let's add this handle and let's change, I will say all credit goes to the artisans because they're literally weaving straight, little thread by thread to make
Mm.
bags. So I just, want to say all credit goes to them because they're the ones that are really doing all of it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the next collection, which I'm so excited about, it's all about pollinators, which is an opportunity to talk about the Great Migration, the monarchs, and about how pollinators supply, they help our food supply thrive.
Right.
Without
Right.
pollinators, we're in trouble.
Right.
And these bags have this message. They're conversation starters to talk about bigger subjects. And the bigger idea is, how can we create a marketplace, an ancient future Earth marketplace, where these items are made with consciousness, with integrity. They give back to people, they give back to the planet, and they're gonna last.
Yeah.
Right? Because the world doesn't need more things; it needs better things. And my father gave my mother a bag that was woven by the Waju people in La Guajira, which is the tip of South America. It's a beautiful desert. There's pink flamingos. The sand is black, but it's like luminous and shiny. It's a really magical place. And my dad gave this bag to my mom when they were dating. And after my dad passed away, and I was just kind of looking for ways to connect with him and my mom and all of that, this bag brought me to this community there. So all is to say is that the weaving is so well made that it would last generations, right? Like that bag had for now 30 years.
Which also doesn't happen anymore. I mean, the way things are made now, it's in, sweatshops and very, very low quality, and the materials are being cut because of costs and everything else. And so again, it brings me back to supporting a brand and company like yours. I mean, to the point where I'm now partnering with Angela del Sol to get these bags out into the world because I believe in the project so much. And what you're talking about with this next generation of bags with the pollinators, my background is also in nutrition and healing. And without the pollinators in the world, we don't have a world. I mean, it's just, it basically stops there. And so this next version of the bag is actually helping bring the message around the pollinators, but also let's talk a little bit about even the honey project that you're working on too, because that is directly impacting the pollinators themselves. So tell us a little bit about what's coming online with that.
I've been following my curiosity for my entire life, and my path might not seem very linear because I've done different projects. They all have the same common thread, which is how can we give back to the earth? How can we support the communities that are at the front lines, grassroots communities that are taking care of the biodiversity that's left in our world? So 3 years ago, I started a project called Sisu, which is a Finnish term that means inner courage and gentle wisdom. If you go to Finland, it's a way of being that everyone's aware of. It's an attitude of how you behave. It's kind of that courageous energy, but not of a warrior, but of a gentle warrior. So the whole idea was to talk about climate in a very inspirational way. And when I was in La Sierra Nevada of Colombia with the indigenous Arhuacos and Wiwa community, which are ancient communities that have lived in this mountain before Columbus came to South America. And I met this kid that at the time was 7 years old, and he just wanted to work with bees, and he just, grabs my hand and takes me into the rainforest and shows me these really special bees that I've never seen in my life. They're so tiny, like they're smaller than my fingernail, very tiny. And they're stingless bees. I still haven't been able to fully identify them. So if anyone is a bee expert and would like to come to the rainforest with me, please come, because their hive is circular and they have globes instead of hexagons. So the way their hive is just extremely rare. And and then it's been a 3-year process of finding ways to sell art, digital and physical art, to support these communities in building bee homes. And after years, last year, we were able to harvest honey. And it was the best. It was the best and most rewarding experience. And also, it shows how good things take time. You know, for bees to pollinate, to create one full spoon of honey, it takes 50,000 flowers that they have to pollinate.
50,000. Let's just pause for a second because that's an astronomical number. Thinking about that for a second in your own life, whether you're driving down the highway, whether you're sitting somewhere where you can look out the window right now and see flowers, but 50,000 flowers to pollinate how much honey?
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon of honey. Yeah. That's insane.
It's insane. And then when you start thinking and learning about bees, we realize how special and how powerful they are for our earth. And because of the current agricultural system that's using so many pesticides and in just the lifestyle that we have in our planet right now, all of these small, beautiful pollinators are at risk. Yeah. And not many people are talking about them. So the honey that we've harvested it's really special. It's very medicinal. You can use it in your eyes. It helps you with your vision. It also helps you clean and ground your third eye. If you do these things, like maybe if you've done Kundalini or any type of meditations and have ever felt your pineal gland here, you know that there's ways to clear and open this side of your head, of your mind, of your body. And last year it was really cool because when I was there to check on the bees, there was this amazing doctor who I really connected with. His name is Zach Bush.
I love Zach. I love him.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he's amazing.
We were there and we were connecting around the bees, and he's like, wow, these bees are amazing. And, the vibration that they emit, they can also help you heal.
The fact that you were there with Zach is awesome. Dr. Bush is that just the fact that crossed your path is incredible.
Well, it happened randomly.
Of course it did. That's who you are.
I was just there, and then they happened to be there, and I was in the rainforest the whole time, and then I would come down to my friend's incredible hotel. It's called Gitana del Mar, and I was just there. I would come really sweating, but feeling so good, because when I'm inside of the rainforest, I see species that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
And seen plants that I've never seen before. And this ecosystem is completely protected, and it belongs to my family, to my indigenous family. And I am with them to support them the best I can. And this year, I'm really excited to continue this work in a way that's more regenerative and really calling the support that's needed to build that resiliency for these communities in a way that's not charity, in a way that they can that we can have a communication, and we can have a level of exchange that feels
100%. And one of the ways that actually you can get involved with what we're talking about, I'm getting ready to launch a mastermind, and it's really the only way that you can work directly with me. I'm doing it with 2 other women. But one of the things that we're going to be doing is presenting all of these different travel journeys, things that you would never be able to get to do front row, and just very soulful adventures. And one of them I want to do with you is going to Colombia, to these ancient communities, and to trek into the rainforest with the bees, and to really understand what this conversation is all about. So I invite you to definitely be in touch. Make sure you're on my mailing list so that you can get information about what we're planning and doing. But we're doing a lot of really cool stuff in the upcoming year. And for sure, that includes what you're doing, for sure.
Yeah. And this coming, I'm so excited for you to come and see this, and for us to weave this, because the communities, especially they're called the mamos and the sagas. So they're the elders, the sages of these mountains. And they do these really special healings with our lineages, and they work with the air element. So they work a lot with our thoughts. Do these really beautiful purification processes that are so subtle. And I know that we've kind of, in the current wellness and spiritual consciousness space, we've kind of gotten used to highs and more, and like epic journeys and
Mm,
medicines, all kinds. But what I've loved and I've been loving so much about this one is the subtleness
yeah.
of the gentleness of just clearing our thoughts. And they do these really special aseguranzas. I know that they look interesting, but these are all blessings that they do to
Mm,
protection, and they require very deep work around ancestral healing. And the saga also works with women for the womb healing. So
mm,
any woman that has gone through any traumatic experience in their womb, whether that has been rape, sexual abuse,
mhm.
abortions, miscarriages, this is a place where she does incredible healings. And they do a lot of work around fertility as well. And I think that's a topic that a lot of women right now in the United States, just the way that the whole system's being set up,
Of course.
making women from having birth control to the
Well, it's a lab. It's now a lab experience instead of a natural experience. And I think what you're talking to is really about what I've always believed in and focused on, which is the ancient wisdom healing, the ancient wisdom teachings that we all have access to, but that's long been forgotten. And I think the exciting thing about our merging is to bring these more to the forefront of access for people to, whether it's just having this indigenous honey in your kitchen, or whether it's trekking into these deeper communities to really get and receive healing, or whether it's coming, you were actually with us a couple months ago, I guess it's already been, where we did an indigenous elders fire ceremony where we all actually, that was an incredible experience at the base of these very, very powerful, really it's like a vortex portal site that we were stationed at with the indigenous elders and doing a prayer circle, and we were literally in prayer all night, and that was powerful. And so there's all this access to these real ancient teachings. And for me, I'm exactly the same way of you. For me, I am a truth seeker. And it's really about unlocking the truth that we already have in our intuitive wisdom that's internal. It's ever intelligent within our own self. And it's really about how do you access that? Because we have these layers of ourselves. Once we get past our personality and our ego side, we have this soul side to us that actually opens us up to all full possibility of what is really achievable and accessible to us in this realm. And it's really shifting from like a five sensory dimension here on planet Earth to a multi-sensory dimension, and really opening up to much deeper realms of what the indigenous communities are still practicing. And so it's taking that ancient teachings and bringing it back into the modern day way. And I think that's one of the things that you and I will focus a lot on together this next year is curating experiences and products, and how do we do this in a way that people can re-engage in those ancient technologies and wisdom. So that's really exciting too.
so exciting. And it's also I think that there's a misconception sometimes that ancient needs to be the shaman or this person in the top of the mountain meditating. But I
Mm,
think that there's this, all of us can access that inside of ourselves, right?
yeah,
Because when you think about it and you start counting how many people made love for you to be here right now.
right, right.
And these, these threads.
Talk about pollination. Talk about seeds.
And these, and then we are the result of all of those people that walk behind us.
Mhm.
And we have the space to access their gifts and
Yeah.
heal also the things that have happened in the past. And I used to not, I grew up in a very traditional intellectual family, and with very religious as well. So I'm kind of the black sheep that has been like, oh, I want to figure another way to see the world.
Mhm.
And I'm realizing that, being so involved in climate conversations around the world, and I realized that the evolution of humanity will depend in our inner healing and our inner consciousness.
100%. It all starts there. And I always say, like, for me, all of my teachings and coaching and everything that I've done in my life is about know yourself first, know thyself. It's really a true point. And when you can actually learn the internal structure of the wisdom that you're holding within, as you talk about. It's this is how we collectively heal. And when we can go in first and really get peaceful and harmonious in our internal world, it reflects our external world. And so imagine if everyone is internally sound and internally in balance and in peace in their heart, how that's going to feel in our external world. And it's a lot of why we're seeing what we're seeing in the world, which is crazy and chaotic and super disturbing, is because our internal world is a reflection of that. And so this is really about balancing the internal world with the external reality so that they're both in harmony. And I love that you just brought that up. And I would wonder if you could share like a transformative moment in your own life that's significantly shaped your path to get to that.
Recently, I've had some pretty intense moments. I think that arriving to a place of doing this type of work, it doesn't really usually happen by choice.
Yeah.
Well, like you kind of arrive to it through, for me, it hasn't been the most smooth. Recently, I'm noticing more and more that our relationship with the elements and our relationships with the people around us and closest to us are everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to relate to people. It's hard because we all have a different set of values, traumas, views.
Yeah.
Really see the world completely different.
Yeah.
And I had a moment of disagreement with somebody that I care a lot. And we had this moment of disagreement. And, my instinct based on my own trauma responses up to now have been fighting, flying, or funning, where, I just completely drop out of the face of the earth. You won't hear from me. You won't see me. I just won't talk to you, or I just fight. But I really don't want to choose that. That's just not, so I went into this trauma response and then I caught it. I caught myself doing it, and I was able to correct it and putting my head down, acknowledging how my own way of seeing the world and seeing the situation made this happen. And I was able for the first time to course correct and heal a relationship without blowing up a bridge.
Amazing.
This is just a small win that continues to shape me and make me realize that we are flexible, and no matter what has happened to us, no matter the trauma, no matter the pain, the joys, every day we choose. We have that 10-second to choose. How do we react? How do we respond to situations, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that recently has really stuck to me. It's okay, how am I going to respond to these? And lately, being back in the city is, things happen and you and then you just want to lose your cool. How can I stay in that space?
Yeah, it's a practice. It's funny because you think about childhood and you think about how parents actually discipline or kind of catch kids reacting, right? So it's like a kid will throw a trauma or a temper tantrum, and the parent steps in and is like, you know what, not cool. You need a timeout, or, whatever the response is. But we're shown that from parent to child. And then as we get into adulthood, it's like we spin out and we forget those skills, right? And so I love that you're bringing this to the forefront and so beautifully admitting this vulnerability, because when you can catch yourself in a pattern that doesn't serve anyone, especially your highest good, right? So it starts there, but it certainly then doesn't serve anybody externally in your world. But when you can actually catch yourself in that pattern that you've probably been doing for the majority of your life, and you can actually course correct, as you just talked about, it is one of the most pivotal places that you can start to live deeper into higher levels of self-expression and who you truly are, because you let go of those shadows and you let go of, and sometimes it takes another relationship to actually show that to you so that you can course correct. So somebody calls you out on, hey, have you ever noticed that you keep doing this over and over and over again? And if you're awake enough to see that pattern and go, oh my God, this isn't serving me anymore, and you can evolve into a deeper level of understanding around that, I think it's an amazing way to step into the next version of yourself. And it's certainly, and then it's this letting go piece, right? Where all of a sudden when you do it, you're kind of like, oh my God, I just did that. That's amazing. And you're like, that felt so good. I never want to go back, right?
Absolutely. And there's this forgiveness and there's this space
Mm,
of, accepting and owning when you mess up.
mm. And not being right, not having to be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the art of war is how do we keep peace?
Oh my God, let's just stop there for a second and take that in because in the way of the world right now, that is such a beautiful reminder. So, the art of war is how we keep peace. And it reminds me of actually Mother Teresa had this beautiful saying that if you invite her to a war rally, she won't go. But if you invite her to a peace one, she will. She'll be front and center. It's something like this. I'm butchering how it was said, but it's the same thing that how we act in war is exactly how we need to be in peace. And this is everything. It's your internal world, it's your external world. So just take that on for today and really contemplate that thought because I feel like that one nugget that you just heard here live on Came Here to Love it's a life-changing prophecy. I'll say it like that. And it's true.
We're gonna need all of us, where we're heading, where we currently are right now planetarily. It's not the most feel good kumbaya moment of our planet.
Yeah.
It's gonna need all of us. And when we put aside all of the things that are not necessarily essential, and we just bring forth our hearts and we're vulnerable, which is so hard.
Yeah.
Especially for a woman like me that have had to be strong, that
Yeah.
I had to be resilient,
Mhm.
and I had to work really hard. And I kind of put that shield off and I just show myself
Yeah.
in a vulnerable place where I don't know the answers, where I admit to reacting or all the things. And we
Yeah.
all show up with this space of vulnerability. I
Yep.
think able to connect better, and I think right now, politically here in the United States, we're seeing the fraction and the division of our society. And I just think we need to come back to the fire and come
Yeah.
back and really just remember what brings us together. Okay, we all want clean water. We all need clean air. We all need to eat food that's not killing us. Okay,
Right.
can we work together to get that? And that
Right.
should be the focus, not
Yeah.
pointing fingers of X, Y, C, you this, you that. It's like, let's come together on the things that actually we all value, which is life.
Yeah. It's really about softening the mind and opening the heart. It's really about that of getting out of our thoughts and really back into where we all need to where the true essence lies, which is our heart. I think one of the things that you said, especially to women, I just want to touch on this because it's something that I've been actually talking about a lot. I was just at a conference that really brought this to